US-based Nigeria social critic Professor Farooq Kperogi has argued that there will be a religious civil war in the country if Vice President Yemi Osinbajo becomes president in 2023. Although Osinbajo is yet to declare interest in the 2023 presidential race, it is believed that he is eyeing the country's topmost political office. In a lengthy article via his social media page on Monday, the professor of journalism and emerging media at Kennesaw State University in Georgia kicked against Osinbajo's rumored presidential ambition. According to him, an Osinbajo presidency would plunge Nigeria into the depths of a smoldering religious volcano that will hasten its self-immolation. Kperogi said his claim is based on an intimate familiarity with Osinbajo's trajectory of religious bigotry, overpowering anti-Muslim prejudice, and irrevocable devotion to the materialization of a Pentecostal, specifically RCCG, capture of the Nigerian state. The article reads, a Yemi Osinbajo presidency would, without a doubt, plunge Nigeria into the depths of a smoldering religious volcano that will hasten its self-immolation. This isn't some highly churlish oracular indulgence. It is based on an intimate familiarity with Osinbajo's trajectory of religious bigotry, overpowering anti-Muslim prejudice, and irrevocable devotion to the materialization of a Pentecostal, specifically RCCG, capture of the Nigerian state. Here are 10 reasons for my fears. Number 1. The RCCG memo that asked churches to actively support its members vying for political offices was inspired by Osinbajo and it's consistent with its history of exclusivist religious politics. In 2013, for example, he formed the Christian Conscience Group along with Enoch Ajiboso, Dele Shobowale, and Most Reverend Joseph Ajayi to champion the cause of a Christian governor of Lagos State. According to a September 27, 2013 Daily Post News report titled, "It is Time for a Christian to Govern Lagos" group. The group was led by former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Lagos, who is also a pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Just like he has masterminded religionization of the politics of 2023. In 2013, Osinbajo delivered a lecture titled Christianity, Politics, Now and Beyond that instigated Christians to deploy Christian religious blackmail to force Tinubu to endorse a Christian governor for Lagos in 2015, in a part of Nigeria that deafens the rest of the country with the tiresomely sterile mantra that religion doesn't matter in Yoruba land. And secondly, Osinbajo advocacy for a Christian governor in Lagos wasn't inspired by any desire for religious pluralism. A Muslim has never been elected governor of Ondo and Ekiti State. In Ogun State, his natal state, Ibikunle Amosu is the only Muslim governor the state has ever elected since 1979, even though Muslims are at least 50% of the state's population. Osinbajo is fine with that. Thirdly, the strategy Osinbajo used to incite religious fervor in Lagos prior to 2015 is the precise strategy he's using now. The RCCG memo is just a small part of a bigger religious incitement strategy. On November 5th, 2021, for example, The Guardian reported Bishop Wale Oke, President Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria (PFN), of which Osinbajo is pivotal member. He's a pivotal member to have said, "We do not want another Muslim president come 2023." In another February 12, 2022 interview with The Guardian, Oke said, "Not only should the South produce the next president ought to be a Christian, not a Muslim. This is very important." And in a February 20, 2022 lecture in Jos, according to the Sun, CAN President Reverend Samson Ayokunle said Christians must unite to elect a Christian president. He said this during a lecture disturbingly titled Defeating Your Enemies Through the Power of Unity, which creates the impression in the minds of his Christian audience that Muslims are enemies of Christians who must be defeated in 2023. You can imagine Kperogi, who is in the US. You are the one talking. This is very so disappointing that this man is the one saying all this nonsense. We are talking of how to separate ourselves from religion, separate policy from religion, but these people are still doing the same thing. In the last election, Buhari had about 14 million votes, and that is not more than a population of a two denominations in Nigeria. Talk more of the entire Christian body. The camp president said during the lecture, if we are united, I can see rightly in the spirit. God knows the person, and we by the mind of the spirit, we can know the person God wants to use. We have leadership in Can, and if we listen to the leadership, it will be well with us. And the fourth reason is that Osinbajo is a suave, charming, but toxic Islamophobic bigot who clothes his bigotry with oratory. He is only associating with Muslims because of his political agenda. He visits mosque with his shoes on in a betrayal of his eyes cold disdain for the religion, and awkwardly utters salams only as a tool to conquer strategy. Oshibajo's overt Christianization of the 2023 election has already caused the normally secular Bola Tinubu to run on March 19, appeal to the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria in Oshogbo to create a political wing to support Muslims running for political offices, because other religious groups have commenced political sensitization by creating political departments or directorates among themselves to promote their own. You see what I'm talking about? That is a first in the Southwest. The stigma of being labeled a Muslim fundamentalist, a favorite, overused theoretical cudgel often deployed to silence Yoruba Muslims, used to impair Yoruba Muslims to grin and bear their suppression. Oshibajo's overt bigotry is blunting that imagine what will happen in the Muslim North should Oshibajo by any chance become president. Oshibajo sees Muslims not as fellow citizens, which is number 5 reason according to Kperogi. Okay. Who practices a different faith but as lost souls in need of salvation. If they can't be savaged, they should be inferiorized, victimized, and excluded. For instance, on February 2020, according to the Sunshine Truth, an Ondo State newspaper, during the funeral of the mother of former Ondo State Governor Olusegun Mimiko, Oshibajo intentionally went out of his way to hurt the sensibilities of Yoruba Muslims when he gloated that the woman identified as Mama Muinat Mosekonla Mimiko left Islam for Christianity towards the end of her life. This was a touchy subject because although Mama Muinat's two children, former Governor Olusegun Rahman Mimiko and Professor Femi Nazim Mimiko, converted to Christianity, she resisted pressure to leave Islam. She had been sustained in her Muslim faith by her US-based third son, Abbas Mimiko. Many Yoruba Muslims would hope that she would continue to be steadfast in her Muslim faith in spite of immense pressure to leave it, felt graciously mocked by Oshibajo when he cried with perverse joy over her late life conversion to Christianity. If Oshibajo was just a pastor, that wouldn't be out of line. In fact, it would be perfectly legitimate. But when you are president or vice president, you wield enormous symbolic and cultural power. When you use that power in the service of divisive religious policies, you inflame raw passions that can provoke communal convulsions. So guys, I don't even want to bore you with the 5 reasons that he said in case Oshibajo wants to be president in 2023, that there will be religious civil war. So what is not happening now? That is what all of them are doing. I'm so surprised that this Kperogi will go as far as this. We are talking about how to separate ourselves from all this religion and face the reality. This man is not serious. Religious civil war, and his grandpa Buhari in office is busy using Nigeria tax money to support Muslim countries. We civil war. Why can't Osinbajo become president of Nigeria? He is qualified and competent enough. Everyone who is qualified can become the number one position. After all, Tinubu himself has already asked them to go and do the same thing. So, what is the big deal? Well, I disagree with this write-up on its entirety. It is fallacy of equivocation and misleading. The professor is a complete gentleman with fear of God and who believes strictly on the rule of law, nothing like religious hostilities or sentiments in his mind and actions. As the war ended in this government, the religious war is still on in this government. Where is Leah Sharibu? Osinbajo is both an ethnic and a religious bigot, but it is his kind of religious bigotry that is dangerous for Nigeria to continue to. No religious cleric, Muslim or Christians, should be invested with the task of presiding over a complex Nigeria. Speaking from human point of view, if only your eyes of faith can open to see what is to come, you won't even be mentioning Osinbajo becoming the president of Nigeria. He is very far from achieving that. Funny enough, he is a pastor and can't even see what the future holds. Make everybody enter house and allow God to take Nigeria to the level and direction he has prepared for her already.